Good afternoon, students. We were dealing with the fourth chapter, that is reproductive health, and we were on this topic, that is population explosion and birth control. We dealt with the population explosion in a previous lecture. Today we will take up with the birth control. If birth can be controlled, then obviously the population explosion will automatically be controlled. So, there are a wide range of contraceptive methods which can be grouped into different categories known as the natural or the traditional methods, the barriers, the IUDs, oral contraceptives, injectables, implants, surgical methods in order to space the children or make a control over the rate of the birth. That is the birth rate. So first of all, we'll take up the natural method. Natural method works on the principle of avoiding chances of ovum and sperms meeting. Periodic abstinence is one of such method in which the couples avoid or abstain from coitus from day 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle when ovulation is expected, as chances of fertilization are very high during this period. That is why this period is also known as the fertile period. So, abstaining from this period can avoid the unwanted pregnancies. Next is the withdrawal or the coitus interruptus. This is the method in which the ejaculation is not allowed to enter into the vagina. This avoids the insemination. Then lactational amenorrhea. This is the absence of menstruation in the lactation period, and this method is based on this fact that ovulation and the menstrual cycle does not occur during the period of intense lactation which is followed parturition. So, as long as the mother feeds the child fully, chances of conception are almost nil. This method is reported to be effective only up to a maximum period of 6 months following the childbirth or parturition. No medicines or devices are used in this method, so side effects are nil, but chances of failure of this method are very high. Next is the barrier method. In barrier method, ovum and sperms are prevented from physically meeting with the help of barriers. Such methods are available both for the male as well as the female. Condoms are barriers which are made up of thin rubber or latex sheet, and they are used to either cover the male part or the vagina and the cervix in the female, so that ejaculated semen would not enter into the female reproductive tract. This will help to prevent the conception. This is also useful for protection against the STDs and AIDS. Both the male and the female condoms are disposable and they can be used easily. Diaphragms, cervical caps and vaults are also barriers which are made up of rubber, and they are for the female reproductive tract to cover the cervix. They prevent conception by blocking the entry of sperms through the cervix. They are reusable. Spermicidal creams, jellies and foams, they are also used along with these barriers in order to increase the contraceptive efficiency. Now, another method is intrauterine devices, which are popularly known as IUDs. These are inserted by the doctors in the uterus through vagina. These intrauterine devices are available as non-medicated IUDs like the Lipiz loop, or copper releasing IUDs like copper T, copper 7, multilode 375, and the hormone releasing IUDs like the Progestastat LNG 20. IUDs increase phagocytosis of sperms within the uterus, and the copper ions released suppresses sperm motility and fertilizing capacity of the sperms. The hormone releasing IUDs make the uterus unsuitable for implantation and cervix hostile to the sperms. IUDs are very ideal contraceptives for the females who want to space their children. Oral administration of small doses of either progesterone or progesterone estrogen combination is another method which is used by the females. They are used in the form of tablets, so they are also known as pills. So, pills have to be taken daily for a period of 21 days, starting preferably with the first 5 days of the menstrual cycle. After a gap of 7 days, that is the duration of the menstruation, it has to be repeated in the same pattern till the female desires to prevent the conception. They inhibit the ovulation and implantation as well as alter the quality of cervical mucus to prevent or retard the entry of the sperms. Pills are very effective with less side effects. Saheli is a oral contraceptive pill for the females which contains a non-steroidal preparation. It is once a week pill with very few side effects and high contraceptive value. Progesterones alone or in combination with estrogen can also be used by the females as injections or implants under the skin. Their mode of action is similar to that of pills and their effective periods are much longer. Administration of progesterone or progesterone estrogen combinations or IUD within 72 hours of coitus have been found to be very effective as emergency contraceptives as they could be used to avoid possible pregnancies which are not desired. Next is the surgical method which is displayed on your screens. The surgical method is also known as sterilization. They are advised for either the male or the female partner as a terminal method to prevent any further pregnancies. Surgical intervention blocks gamete transport, so it prevents the conception. The method in the male is known as vasectomy and that in the female is known as tubectomy. In vasectomy, small part of the vas deferens is removed or tied up through a small incision on the scrotum as you can see in the diagram. Whereas in tubectomy, a small part of the fallopian tube is removed like you can see in the diagram displayed, or it is tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through vagina. These techniques are very effective but they are irreversible. The reversibility is very poor. Once they are affected, it cannot be reversed. Okay. One must remember that contraceptives, they are not regular requirements for the maintenance of the reproductive health. They are all practiced against a natural reproductive event. Right? So one is forced to use these methods either to prevent the pregnancy or to space the pregnancies. So these methods, they have no doubt controlled the population, controlled the childbirth and avoids population explosion. But there are certain side effects like nausea, abdominal pain, breakthrough bleeding, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer. Right? So the side effects should also not be ignored, although their percentage is not very high. So next point is the medical termination of pregnancy, that is MTP. Now this is the intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before the fetus becomes viable. This is also known as induced abortion. So, this is one of the most widely used methods of fertility control in the world. So, medical termination of the pregnancy is induced. They are considered safe during the first trimester of pregnancy, that is up to 12 weeks of pregnancy, but they are riskier in the second trimester of the pregnancy. One has to be very cautious because number of unqualified quacks perform these illegal MTPs. Now, what is the significance of this MTP? It helps in getting rid of unwanted pregnancies. They also help in getting rid of such pregnancies which may be harmful or fatal either to mother or the fetus or both of them. They also contribute in decreasing the human population. Now, what is the misuse or the drawback of this MTPs? They are used for female feticide. They are illegally performed by doctors and which may be unsafe, and they may result in the death of the mother also for killing a female child, that is the female feticide. So, that is a very big drawback of MTPs. Now, next is the STDs, that is the sexually transmitted diseases. Now, diseases or infections which are transmitted through sexual intercourse with an infected person are known as sexually transmitted diseases. STDs or VD, that is venereal diseases, or reproductive tract diseases, that is RTI. Now, examples of such diseases are like HIV leading to AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B. These are some of the leading examples of these diseases. Now, the causative agents or the pathogens of such diseases are usually bacteria, virus, chlamydia, protozoa, nematodes, fungi, or some ectoparasites. Now, the mode of transmission of such diseases. They are transmitted as a result of sexual intercourse with infected person, sharing the injection needles, surgical instruments with infected persons, especially in the case of AIDS, transfusion of blood, or they can be transmitted from infected mother to the fetus. Government of India has initiated special reproductive health care programs to prevent the early occurrence, detection and cure of these STDs. Now, what are the preventive measures which can be taken in order to prevent these diseases? First and foremost is that one must avoid sex with unknown or multiple partners. Then, in case of any doubt of a disease, one must consult a qualified doctor without any delay. Although every individual can be vulnerable to such infections, but the incidence is very high among adolescents in the age group of 15 to 24 years. Numerous adolescents come in contact with the STDs. HIV infection is the most dangerous one of these. It is spreading amongst the adolescents because they consider themselves invulnerable and they ignore the advice. HIV infestations, hepatitis B, genital herpes, and other STDs, they are completely curable if detected early and treated properly. Most of the diseases, they have minor initial symptoms such as itching or the fluid discharge, slight pain or swelling, but sometimes they may also be as asymptomatic, that is the absence or insignificant presence of any of those type of symptoms, but they can prove to be very dangerous and fatal, especially the HIV infection. Now next what we are going to take up is the infertility. All over the world, even in India, a large number of couples, they are infertile. That is, they are unable to produce children in spite of the unprotected sexual cohabitation. So such a phenomenon is known as infertility. Reasons can be many for this. They can be categorized as physical, congenital, drugs, immunological, psychological. Any type of infertility disorders can be found in either one or both the partners. So we'll take up this topic of infertility and what are the techniques by which it can be cured, right? So now children, all these couples who need assistance to have children through certain special techniques can be considered under one heading, which are known as assistant reproductive technologies, that is ART, ART, ART. Now they can be like in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization, that is the fertilization outside the body and in almost similar conditions to that of the body, is followed by embryo transfer, right? So this method is known as the test tube baby program. Popularly, you must have known or heard this program, test tube baby. In this method, the ova from the wife or the donor female and the sperms from the husband or the donor male, they are collected and are induced to form zygote under simulated conditions in the laboratory. The zygote or early embryo, up to 8 blastomeres, it is then transferred into the fallopian tube, that is the zygote intrafallopian transfer ZIFT, and embryos with more than 8 blastomeres into the uterus, which is known as the intrauterine transfer, IUT, so that the embryo can develop further. Now, embryos formed by in vivo fertilization, that is the fusion of gametes within the female, are also used for transfer to assist those females who cannot conceive. So mainly you see there are two main types, that is the in vitro fertilization outside the body, which is also known as the test tube baby program, or within the body of the female who cannot conceive. Now, transfer of an ovum collected from a donor into the fallopian tube of another female who cannot produce the ovum but can provide suitable environment for fertilization and further development is one of the methods. This method is known as gamete intrafallopian transfer, that is GIFT, GIFT. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. There is another method known as ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, which is a specialized procedure to form an embryo in the laboratory in which a sperm is directly injected into the ovum. Infertility cases, either due to inability of the male partner to inseminate the female or due to very low sperm counts in the ejaculates, could be corrected by the artificial insemination technique, right? So, in this technique, the semen is collected either from the husband or the healthy donor and is artificially introduced either into the vagina or into the uterus for intrauterine insemination of the female. So, there are so many different options now which can be used by the advancement of the science and technology, but they have to be used with extremely high precision in handling, and this is done by specialized professionals and expensive instrumentation. So these facilities are presently available only in few centers in our country especially. So their benefits are also limited to a few people who can afford the treatment. Then emotional, religious or social factors are also deterrents in the adoption of these methods. Since the ultimate aim of all these procedures is to have children, so there are other methods also by which we can have a child, that is we can adopt a child from an orphanage or any destitute children who are probably not surviving till maturity. These can be taken care of by adopting them legally. But still, the couple has to decide what sort of parentage they require, which type of assistance they require. So, all these techniques which we discussed just now, they are known as assisted reproductive technologies. Right? Thank you, children. Have a nice day.